Hello, and welcome to your first Judicial Branch video. I'm coming to you from my patio, so get excited. All right, so I'm going to move myself up a little bit over that way. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start looking at today is the jurisdiction of the federal court system. So keep in mind that this term, jurisdiction, I'm going to move myself again so you can see it. There we go. The term jurisdiction is another way to say like your area of influence or your area of control, okay? So we're going to talk about three different types of jurisdiction, and the first type is original jurisdiction. And if you have original jurisdiction, that means that you have the authority to hear a case the first time that it's presented, okay? If you have appellate jurisdiction, that means you have the authority to hear a case the second time it's presented. And if you have concurrent jurisdiction, that means you have the same ability to hear a case as another court, okay? So we've talked about the term concurrent whenever we talked about the powers of the state and federal government a couple chapters ago. But original, first time, appellate, second or subsequent times, and concurrent means the same, okay? So in our federal court system, if you'll look over here on this little graphic organizer I made for you, there are three levels of courts, okay? The first level of court is the district court. And there are district courts all over the country, and we'll look at a map of that in class. But that's typically where most cases are going to start in the federal system, okay? The second case, or the second level of courts, is the appellate court. So the appellate court there are also those all over the country, and we'll look at a map. But the appellate court hears cases that are brought on appeal from the district court. And in the Supreme Court, there's only one of those in Washington, D.C., as you guys know. And they hear cases that have most of the time already gone through the federal court system. So they've already gone through the district and appellate courts. But sometimes the Supreme Court can hear a case the first time it's presented, okay? So federal court jurisdiction, or the area of influence for all three of these courts, are going to be cases that involve two or more state governments, citizens who are residents of different states, and citizens of the same state who claim the same land, okay? So why do you think, if there's a case that involves two or more state governments, why do you think the federal court system would step in and the state court would just not handle it? All right, we also want to look at, there we go, and I'm back. Now we want to look at the 14th Amendment. So if you can think back with me, the 14th Amendment was one of those Reconstruction amendments. It was passed to guarantee the rights of citizenship to anyone who was born or naturalized in the United States. So the original intent of it was to provide citizenship and to guarantee citizenship to newly freed slaves. However, it has been applied in numerous different ways since its creation. So the 14th Amendment also is one of those amendments that gives us due process. So you cannot be deprived of your life, liberty, or property without due process of law, meaning without being, you're told what you're accused of, or you're given an attorney, or you're given a chance to defend yourself. All of those things are part of due process. And the 14th Amendment also gives us something called incorporation. Okay, now incorporation, when we're talking about amendments, refers to the fact that all of the Bill of Rights, all of those first 10 amendments, those are all applicable at the state level as well as the federal government. Okay, so before the 14th Amendment, there was some question as to whether or not, like for example, well, the federal government says you have the right to free speech, but maybe our state government doesn't want that. So do we still have to listen to that? Well, the 14th Amendment, one of the things that it did was it gave incorporation, or it required incorporation of the Bill of Rights at the state level. So that is all I've got for you for this video. If you guys have any questions, let me know.